Let's get into round 24, the rearview mirror. Panthers 18, Storm 22. Game of the season nominee, and we spoke about this a lot on Friday. Are you with me, Penrith fan? You with me yet? So Moses Leota was in the wrong. Harry Grant threw himself on the ground, very theatrically. We know that. But Moses Leota was in the wrong. And as a result of that, it was a penalty. The penalty was correct. But then Harry Grant scores, and that was magnificent. Xavier Coates is absolutely superb. And yes, Trent Loera was offside at the marker position when he charged down that. And so if you're a Panthers fan, I understand if you're aggrieved on that. But what a whetting of the appetite going into this final series that is coming up. The Warriors 14, the Dragons 10. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances for the Dragons. That's right, Paul. They did not get the rub of the green this weekend. First of all, of course, the head knocks, Hamish Stewart and Jack DeBellin, and then they're out of the game. And then Hame Sele, and we had all the issue around whether the Category 1 and the 18th man being activated straight away, et cetera, et cetera. And then they bombed 2 tries in the first 20 minutes. They scored 2, but they bombed another 2. So could have had that. And then we've got all the situation around this Adam Pompey first try. And if we look at that, like in King Tongia, again, very theatrical in the manner in which he does it. And I'll put it to you this way, Dragons fans, and this is not going to soften the blow in any way, shape or form, but the theatrical nature with which Harry Grant fell down on Thursday night worked for the Melbourne Storm. The theatrical nature with which Lycan King Tongia fell down on Friday night worked against the Dragons, because that allowed the senior review official to say, he's taken a dive. We want to get away from that. In reality, and there was an extra pass, but in reality, Murata Niokura's got to run inside shoulder. The one last week with Mitchell Moses and the Cowboys, that was Jeremiah Nanai just ran straight at him. So that's a clear penalty. This one, Murata Niokura had to run the inside shoulder. He went the outside shoulder, but because he was so theatrical around that, he doesn't get the penalty. Is it fair? No. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. So if you're a Dragons fan and you're aggrieved by that, and we know Shane Flanagan was he had to ask his own question. No one's asked me, I'm going to ask it myself. And I totally understand that. Tell you what, Adam Pompey, what an afternoon he had. He let in 2, scored 2, all square, said Adam. But they're in the top 4. But if you try and tell me that they're a better side than the Penrith Panthers, come on. We're not having that. We know that. Roosters 32, Bulldogs 12. Absolutely superb performance by the Roosters against the top 3 side. Make note of that, statisticians. It's not just a win, and it's the magnitude of the win. That all hail Daniel Tupou. What a star. What such a humble star. And he got it. All hail Sam Walker. Well, you get the point, right? I'm kidding, Doggies fans. What Doggies fans? Maintain the faith. Okay, this was a poor game. This was silly errors by you. This was bad penalties by you, right? And you created no pressure. You're a pressure team. That's how you win. That's how you win games. You're not flamboyant. You're not pretty. You're gritty. That's how you win games of footy. And there's a lot of people talking about Jacob Kiraz. Was he on the right side of the field? Should he have been marking Daniel Tupou and not Anari Tuala? And my point on that is, well, then Sam Walker would have just kicked to mark Nwanga Nitawase. So that would have been the play. But anyway, all right, that's right. In Melbourne this week. All right, doggies. See how you go with that. Sharks 54, Titans 22. So Kid Sport, just highlights of this one. Dominant first half performance and a little bit disappointing probably with the fade out at the end. But it's come at a cost. Cam McGuinness. Now, he is not a flashy player, we know, but players like him are vital at this stage of the season. We're waiting on an update of that. So then we've got Knights at home. That's a win. Round 27 be the Bulldogs at a court. That is absolutely monstrous. That could be who's in the top 4, the Sharks or the Bulldogs. The winner of that game go into the top 4. That's certainly the way it could play out. Titans, well, they probably don't deserve the wooden spoon, but it looks like they're going to get it. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. The Broncos 38, the Dolphins 28. This was the second game of the round. That was a Game of the Year nominee. 44,000 fans saw a dramatic game of rugby league. And the Dolphins, their commitment throughout the course of this year to have so many players out, and we've talked about it a lot. I've got to give a rap to Trey Fuller to come in and just set it alight at different stages. I thought Hammer was excellent. But up 28-14, and this is a class coaching performance by Christian Wolf. There's no doubt about that. And then Ben Hunt, and then Billy Walters, and then Reece Walsh. We asked Michael Maguire about Reece Walsh specifically on Friday. He told us how well he prepares. He told us how much thought and effort he puts into his rugby league. We talked about how other players might have been rushing him a little bit, and that's not going to be fixed overnight. It certainly doesn't get fixed in a 24-hour period, but this might be his greatest game for Reece Walsh thus far. Try, 6 from 6, penalty goal, 19 runs, 249 metres, 2 line break assists, 1 try assist, 12 tackle breaks, and 1 crucial 40-20. That's Reece Walsh's numbers coming out. Forget about the kick out on the full. Let's just push them to one side. But come on, you can't help but love that. Rabbitohs 20, Eels 16. This was a second instalment of the Gadu Gathering for Indigenous round at Allianz Stadium. Really good contest. Jai Gray did some remarkable things, and including saving the game for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So they've got to work it out. He's got to be the fullback moving forward. What about Latrell Mitchell? I'm sure Wayne will work it out. They've got the Dragons, the Buy, the Roosters. They can be nuisance value, especially that last game of the year. The Eels, they're okay, but Eels fans, what did you think? Iongi, Papali'i, Moses, even Riley Smith. There's your spine. That's what it feels like looking forward. Is that going to be good enough to compete for a top 8 position next year? Because that's what you've got to be doing if we're 1 and a bit years into the reign of Jason Riles. We're 1 and a bit year into the reign of Benji Marshall. Tigers 26, Sea Eagles 12. So we called this one. Bright start for Manly. Tolatau Kola breaking tackles, as we say. The best fullback, not playing fullback in the National Rugby League. Separate issue. But then we got the best of the Tigers. More control, better discipline, more dangerous. And they deserve the win. Tigers fans, anyone out there have them up for 9 wins this year? I didn't. 9 wins they've had. Some people are talking about semi-finals, I mean, with due respect. Benji's not. So, but some people are talking about semi-finals. I think that's not going to be the case. But here's the question de rigueur. How'd DCE play? What did you think of his performance? Go on, open the floodgate. I tell you what, he handles himself really well in the media, it must be said. How often have you ever heard a journo go after a captain like that in a press conference? Never. The captain's usually sitting there and 4 questions in, someone goes, I better lob one up over there to Cam McGuinness or just lob one over there to James Tedesco. They haven't said anything yet, but Daly Cherry Evans plays his 350th game for Manly. He is Manly's greatest ever number 7. So if you had the team of history for Manly, he's your number 7 in it. I just wonder how that is going to play out. I would have to say, forget about looking at a stat line yesterday for Daly Cherry Evans. He tried his backside off. Not everything worked. We know that. A lot of things did work really well, and they weren't able to be capitalised on by teammates, but tried his backside off. But looks like we're going to get your thoughts on Daly Cherry Evans throughout the course of the afternoon. The Cowboys 38, the Knights 4. I only saw the highlights of this one in the car on the way back from that Tigers and Sea Eagles game. But big win for the Cowboys, as anticipated, which was more of a reflection of the opposition. We'll get to them very shortly. Consider this. Jake Clifford has played now 12 games this year. They've had 6 wins, a draw, and 5 losses. And he wasn't unavailable because of injury. He just didn't get picked. And we were all going, yeah, Jackson Purdue. He's playing so well in the centres, but he's a 5'8". And then we found out he's a better centre. So maybe that's what could have been for the Cowboys, although they've been disappointing, but they're not as disappointing as Check's notes. Newcastle, do they deserve the wooden spoon? Possibly. And yes, no Ponga, no Sharp, no Lucas. We know that. This is what they got coming home. They got the Broncos at home, The Sharks away and the Eels away. I can't see a win there. From what I understand, it's been a little vitriolic this morning around one Daly Cherry Evans. Here, in defence of the Manly number 7, I give you Alex Molchanov, a.k.a. the Maestro. How are you, Maestro?
Yeah, not too bad, Jimmy.
Are you in defence of Daly Cherry Evans?
Oh, look, Jimmy, everybody's so divided at Manly. I just want everyone to come together for the last 3 games of the season.
Very kumbaya of you, but anyway, let's...
Change is coming, I think is safe to say.
Change is coming. When? This week? End of the year? When are you suggesting?
End of the year.
We're
not going to be playing finals. I think we can forget about that.
I'm with you on that. I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with you on that. All right. So 350th for Daly Cherry.
Yeah, excited for that. And what a servant to the... I'm just ready for it to be over, though, Jim.
Right. What's the point? Where's the issue for you? Where's the pain point?
It's an apathy that I have. Like, I shouldn't feel this way about Daly Cherry Evans. I should feel passionately in favour, in love with this man. What he's done for the club, a premiership winner, 350 games, a leader of it for so long.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
right.
Off you go, Daly. Into the sunset, son. Goodbye.
Was it all his fault if
No,
the way it played
not.
out this year? No.
Of course
So
not.
you have to apportion blame to Anthony Seibold. You have to apportion blame to the rest of the playing group. You have to apportion blame to Tony Mestrov and the CEO. You even have to apportion some blame to Scott Penn. You apportion no blame to the Manly supporters. No blame.
I don't think so.
No, it's all internal. It's all internal. And it's unfortunate, but I was walking to that game yesterday, as you know, and I sent you a little text message, and I just thought, this is
laid the boot in, didn't you?
I did lay the boot in. For whatever reason, it's just like, why? And then one of the things I thought about was, are we expecting, remember, Daly's 36.
Yeah.
Are we expecting prime Daly Cherry Evans and prime Tom Trebojevic and prime Luke Brooks and prime Siwa Torkiaho, and that's not what they are now.
That's a very good argument and a very good point. They are all, I think, a level short of where they were, even during that COVID season.
Yep.
I think that was the best iteration of this Manly spine, to put it that way.
And there's other players, and I think Tolutau Kola is one of them, but the 2 players in particular who are still on the upsurge is Hamoli Olakawato and Taniela Paseka.
Yes.
And they're both
they're not there.
And they're both not there. Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.